Hi, and welcome to Window Cleaning Dude. In this episode, we're going to talk about liability insurance. So just starting out in window cleaning, one thing you really want to be thinking about is liability insurance. Now, liability insurance can cost a good deal of money, and so a lot of window cleaners choose not to get liability insurance when they're first starting out. I know when I first started window cleaning, I didn't even know about liability insurance, so it wasn't for several years before I finally actually got liability insurance. I'm telling you right now, so you do know, so you really have no excuse not to know about liability insurance at this point. The question is whether or not you feel like you can afford it. Liability insurance isn't cheap. It can cost $500 to $1,000 a year, but it is well worth it, and at some point you are going to want to get liability insurance, and I'm going to go over all those reasons now in this video. So why might you want to get liability insurance? Well, one of the biggest reasons is some states have laws that say that if you are in service industry, that you have to have liability insurance when you're walking onto customers' properties or onto a commercial property, that they require that any business that is going to perform a service have some form of liability insurance in case there are any accidents, any kind of accident, whether it's just the property itself or actually somebody getting hurt. It's always good to have liability insurance for these reasons, and so a lot of times states will require that of anybody entering a service trade. So just legally, for those purposes, to stay out of trouble with the law, this is the first reason why you want to have liability insurance. Now there's a lot more reasons to have liability insurance, and obviously you want to be able to cover any damage that happens while you're at a customer's home or at a business. If you accidentally, let's say, break a window, scratch a window, or if your ladder falls over and lands on some of their other property, or somebody gets hurt, you always want to have liability insurance, because you do not want to be put out of business because you didn't have liability insurance. And if you are getting sued for having an accident happen that wasn't necessarily your fault but it happens anyways, being sued and going through that whole process could certainly put you out of business, in which case you're not going to be making money anymore. So if you have the money, I highly recommend that you get liability insurance. Now, one of the best things about having liability insurance is it does give you that extra credibility. Oftentimes when you are trying to get certain jobs, you can't even get a job like with a commercial building or a high-end residential customer like a millionaire or a billionaire or somebody who has a lot of money and has a big estate. They're going to want you to have liability insurance, and if you go and try to bid on a job, or if they have you quote on a job, they're going to ask you for that liability insurance, and if you can't provide proof of that, then you can count on not getting that job. So just from the standpoint of wanting to land bigger contracts and bigger jobs and be able to make big money, you want to be able to have that liability insurance, and that's kind of a gateway in order to start getting those jobs and to make that money. So at some point in your window washing business, whether now at the beginning or later on down the road, you really need to think seriously about purchasing liability insurance. And like I said, I know starting out, when you don't have a lot of money starting out, that is a huge cost, and it is a barrier to get over. But if you don't have the money starting out, then of course you're going to have to fake it till you make it. Best way to do that is to be extremely careful when you're on someone else's property. Be sure that you're always thinking about safety and what you're doing to make sure that you don't have any unforeseen accidents. That's the whole thing about an unforeseen accident, is it is unforeseen. You don't know when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen. But if you are just constantly being vigilant and thinking about what you're doing, how you're doing it, is it safe, are you doing something that's not safe, that's going to eliminate a lot of that possibility of having a problem. Like I said, I cleaned for several years without liability insurance. I never broke anything, luckily. Be careful while you're out there, and as you start to get more business and you're making more money, then at some point there you're really going to want to spend the extra $500 to $1,000 and get the liability insurance. So with the liability insurance, you can go to windowcleaningdude.com and see who I use. I've been with the same company for years. I'm not an affiliate of them. I don't make any money if you choose to go through them. It's just who I use. It's an easy resource for you. I got this company's information through other window cleaners, and I found them to be very reliable. They work very well with window cleaners, and that's why I stuck with them. At some point, as you are having liability insurance and you've been with the company for at least a year, then you can then switch over to other companies that are cheaper. I know that Costco offers an insurance called Safeco, and my understanding is they are a lot cheaper than other insurance companies, but I choose to stick with the company that I've been with just because they have been so good with all my needs and are timely with getting the documentation that my prospective customers are asking for. So I've just chosen to stay with them. them. I don't mind paying a few extra bucks if they're just like at the top of their game and they're getting what I need done. I don't really know about Safeco's reliability. Maybe there are other window cleaners out there who might be able to address that issue, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm sticking with the company that I'm with. I just really like them. So if you want to learn more about the company I'm with, you can go to windowcleaningdude.com and check that out for free there. Otherwise, when you are looking into a company, just know that once you do purchase that insurance, there are other options, but you're going to have to wait a year and just have that year behind you to show that you've had this insurance, you didn't have any major accidents, and then you can then switch over to another company and go down to a lower rate. Now, the other nice thing about the credibility issue is that when you do have liability insurance, not only can you land those commercial jobs and those high-end residential, but also you can get more clientele because of it. When you do land those big jobs, especially high-end residential, you can guarantee that they have other wealthy buddies that they're going to recommend you to get more window cleaning jobs, cleaning bigger accounts. So with that credibility just comes more job opportunities that you wouldn't have otherwise. It is in your best interest. You are going to make that money back by just landing larger jobs, making more money, having more referrals, and then of course saving you if you do have an accident that you don't have to pay out of pocket, and it's going to cover your legal problems there, so you can just stay in business, keep window cleaning while you're going through the issues of solving someone's issues if you've messed up on the job and messed up some of their personal property or someone got hurt. You can keep your business going, keep making money and stay in business. So it is nice to have the liability insurance because you're going to have a $1 million coverage starting out, and then eventually you can move it to $2 million or more, which some bigger commercial buildings are going to require even higher amounts, but most people are pretty satisfied with the $1 million coverage, which is what I maintain. It's nice because it brings that stress level down. When you don't have liability insurance and you're used to cleaning windows, there is that stress there, which is good. It's good to have that stress there to help keep you on your toes and make sure that you are being safe, but that kind of wears on you after a while. Every single job you go to, you're like, oh, I don't have liability insurance, and you got to think about that in the back of your mind, right? And when you do have liability insurance, it just brings that stress level down a notch so that it's not constantly nagging you that you don't have it, and you don't have to be as worried. You can feel a little more comfortable on the job cleaning. And of course, you never want to just not worry about it at all, even when you have liability insurance, because you still want to do a good job, and the last thing we want is an accident and then have to have your insurance go up. So, but it does bring the stress level down. So that's always nice. So, it is kind of an expense, but when you're trying to make $100,000 or more a year, spending $500 to $1,000 for liability insurance is not going to be a big deal. It's not going to put a big dent in your wallet. You don't have a lot of overhead as a window cleaner. Once you own all your gear, it's really just buying extra rubber, replacing your shirts on occasion, paying for gas. So, you can afford that overhead, the expense of the liability insurance, especially since it's going to just open up a lot more opportunities for you and allow you to scale your business and make a lot more money. Lastly, I think what I want to talk about here for liability insurance is being bonded and insured. So a lot of times you'll see window cleaners and on their advertisement or their marketing, they'll say I'm bonded and insured. I've never been bonded. I really don't feel a need for that. When you're bonded, you're pretty much paying money up front, and it's being held as a bond in case your insurance isn't going to cover something, then the bond can cover what the insurance won't cover. So sometimes people like to see the bonded and insured, so they feel like they have like a double coverage, a fallback for your insurance in case it falls short. I've never had an issue with this. I've never had anybody ask me if I was bonded. No one requiring me to be bonded, even with commercial or high-end residential. No one's ever required that of me, so it's kind of up to you if you want that extra little bit of bonding. But I personally don't choose to have that. I've never had issue with that. I've been in business for over 10 years, so it's up to you, but it is something to consider and think about, and you'll have to weigh out the pros and cons of that. But just rest assured and know that you don't have to have bonding. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found some information here that was useful to you. Once again, you can go to windowcleaningdude.com, learn everything I have to offer there, including my recommendation for an liability insurance company. Also, be sure to like and subscribe, so hit that subscribe button, join the window cleaning community here on YouTube, and let YouTube know that you find value in these videos. Don't forget to hit the notification bell for upcoming videos, and comment down below on anything you need to know more about liability insurance or anything else that I haven't covered on my website, and I will see you in the next episode.